This week's Hometown Happenings is brought to you by the Detroit Lakes School District.
Welcome to Hometown Happenings. I'm Carol McCarthy here at DLHS, Detroit Lakes High School, with Karin Fritz Staley, class of 87 rocks. She is the attendance coordinator for Detroit Lakes High School, and we're here to talk about attendance because September is National Attendance Awareness Month, and we wanted to give a few statistics and really kind of check in as to why attendance is an important issue here in Detroit Lakes and the Lakes area specifically. First off, Karin, let's talk about what is considered good attendance? Obviously, come every day, but what do you consider to be good attendance?
We look at good attendance as 8 days or less in our district, which is 5%. Okay. So that's a day a month, actually less than a day a month. We go 9 months of the school year, and so it would be less than a day a month.
Okay. All right. And, thinking about that, 1 day a month doesn't seem like a whole lot, but it does add up if you go more than 1 day a month.
It does, and in research, there's so much new research about attendance, and they talk about the effects of attendance, and it greatly can impact a child in their academic success.
So at what point does attendance take a turn and become chronic absenteeism?
Chronic absenteeism is considered 10%, which in our district is 16 days. And that is less than 2 days a month. So, it really doesn't sound like a lot, but it's the time out of the classroom. 16 days is basically a month of school.
Okay. So when kids miss, is the average 1 day a month, but, you hear of kids getting sick for a week, you get the bad case of the flu, is that a little on the lighter side of attendance? It does sound like not a lot of days off. Even adults get sick for more than 2 days a month.
Right, but I think if you put it in the context of even having a job, missing 16 days, and it's not vacation time because we do have time off for Christmas and we do have a little break in the spring and things like that. So if you think about working a job 9 months and taking 16 days off, that's quite extensive, but it makes a huge impact academically on students. And so that is why it is important. Ultimately, that is the reason.
It does seem like kids have a little bit more intense course study these days, and missing 1 day is, you miss an assignment or a test and you just have to do so much more to make that up.
Yes, and I think when students miss a lot too, it can be completely overwhelming for the students when they come back because it keeps moving, things move forward. And so you maybe miss 3 days, but they continue to move forward. So, and statistics in kindergartners who are chronically absent, and we think about kindergarten, I think you and I talked about this earlier in the week, that, it's not what it used to be, and there's a lot of learning that's going on in kindergarten, reading and math, and the statistics on kindergartners who are chronically absent and first graders. If they are chronically absent in kindergarten and first grade, there's only a 17% chance they'll read at grade level in third grade.
Wow. So it's important to attend in all grades, but it is specifically, it becomes important from day one.
It does. It becomes important from day one, and what I will say is, ultimately with attendance, we want kids present throughout their academic career to get them ready for employment, college, all those things, but ultimately graduate from high school. And the statistics on kids dropping out from high school, it almost always is related to their attendance and being chronically absent. If you're not here, you're not able to make it happen and have it come together to graduate. So that is really what it's all about.
So, Karin, talk a little bit about, when kids are absent. We talked a little bit about sickness and kind of health issues, but a lot of kids, take off, maybe parents even take their kids out of school for certain excuses, and those are considered absences as well.
They are, and what's interesting about the whole chronic absenteeism is that it includes unexcused and excused absences, because basically what it is time out of the classroom, total time out of the classroom. So yes, parents take their kids out for vacation on occasion, and I think that's one thing to look at for parents also, is just like, it's hard to take a vacation in October not knowing what the rest of the school year is going to look like? I mean, yes, kids get sick, and so it's something to think about. You know, if we went on a week vacation early on, and then they maybe missed or a week later for an illness, well, now that we're getting up there in numbers. So things to consider, and if you're planning vacations and those types of things, to kind of look at what the schedule in the district looks like, and maybe trying to, you know, plan those things along with some of those other days that we have off, just to lessen the time out of the classroom.
Karen Fritz Daly is the attendance coordinator for the District of Detroit Lakes School District, District 22. We're talking about attendance. It's National Attendance Awareness Month, so we're making people more aware about how important it is to attend school on a day-to-day basis, and it starts in kindergarten, as Karen said, and it runs all the way up to grade 12. But we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk specifically about the Detroit Lakes School District and some of the things that people can do, some of the things the school district is doing to help build that daily attendance back up again. Welcome back to Detroit Lakes High School. I'm here at Hometown Happenings with Karen Fritz Daly, and we're talking about attendance. September is National Attendance Awareness Month. And Karen, before the break, we were talking about how important it is to start in kindergarten attending school regularly. But as far as the school year goes, too, you know, you've got 9 months of school, so you want to be there every day, obviously. And, you know, if you September, I mean, you have kids sometimes missing 1 or 2 days in September, but that starts building too. So you really do want to start the year out right.
You do, and the statistics say that if kids are attending in September, the chances are they will continue to have good attendance. If they miss 2 to 4 days in September, it increases their chances of being chronically absent throughout the school year. I think if they just get off to the right start in their attending and coming to school regularly and showing up on time, it can really impact and get them on the right trend for coming on a regular basis and being present. So.
Probably why September is Attendance Awareness Month. All right, light bulb goes off. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the district itself. How are we doing on attendance?
Our elementaries are at about 5%, you know, and down from 7%, just because I've really tried to target kindergarten parents, going to kindergarten roundup and calling and sending letters and things like that. So we have dropped even down to 5%. Middle school, or I should say the high school, is at 19%. And then the middle school is 11 or 14, one of those. But it's very common that elementary is lower, gets higher in middle school, and goes up in high school. And that is an important message to send out to parents, too. And it's a trend that I tend to see, too. If I see a student missing 12 days in middle school, then it keeps crawling up. And so that's just something to, you know, and that's what this month is all about. It's making parents aware. Look at the days, count, try to plan better, because it is important. So,
okay, what are a couple things people can remember, you know, to get their kids going to school, to motivate them or motivate parents to make sure their kids are going to school regularly?
Yeah, I think it's easier if it's a habit starting from the get-go. But I also think just scheduling appointments and all of those things outside of school. Almost a day a month we have off for in-service or a holiday or something like that, that maybe things could be scheduled for appointments and things like that, but also looking at time off for vacation and all of that, but really encouraging their student to be here. And I think one thing we find is it really becomes habit, and it becomes easier, even if a student is struggling with something, that the more they're coming, the easier it is for them. And I think if there is anything else that's getting in the way, if there's transportation or other issues going on at school, I think if parents contact the school and let us know, then we can help resolve it. So.
Very good. Well, hopefully we'll see all your bright and shiny faces at school. And Karen, thanks so much for making us more aware of attendance.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
With Karen Fritz Daly, I'm Carol McCarthy for Hometown Happenings.